synesthesia is a neurological condition where the stimulation of one sensory pathway in your brain leads to the stimulation of another. So this means some people can hear colors, taste shapes, or even see sounds. So it's uncontrollable and automatic, so the people who have it, it just happens to them. And everyone experiences the condition differently. And it's caused by the cross-wiring in the brain, so parts of the brain that control different senses have stronger connections than the average brain does. So some of the types of synesthesia are chromesthesia, which is where sounds trigger visualization of colors, and then grapheme color synesthesia, which is where letters or numbers can be seen in color. Lexical gustatory synesthesia, which is where words evoke taste. So where does it come from? So it's thought to be genetically inherited, and it usually appears during childhood. So many people who experience synesthesia don't really realize that it's not something everyone experiences until later in life, when they find out, oh, they don't see color when they hear music like I do. So that's really interesting. And some people have also found that it can be linked to injuries or psychedelic drug use, but that's also very rare. So how does it manifest through music? So synesthesia typically manifests in music through chromesthesia, like I mentioned earlier. So some people see specific colors when they hear notes or instruments. So one example would be like when someone hears a piano, they see yellow, or like the key of D major would appear blue, things like that. So everyone experiences it differently though. And this can influence how artists write music, play music, or listen to music. So I'm going to give you some examples. I'm going to start with a 19th century Hungarian composer named Franz Liszt. He was also a pianist and a conductor. He had chromesthesia, and he is known for the piano sonata in B minor, which demonstrates the influence of his synesthesia, because when you hear the music, you can kind of recognize the shift of colors and moods throughout the song that he was visualizing. He associated the key of A minor with rosy and vibrant colors, and the key of E flat major was pearly. And during rehearsals, he often described music in terms of color, so he would tell like the orchestra, play more blue, play more pink, which confused the musicians because that's not something they experience, and that's how he realized it was something unique to him. And then Olivier Messiaen is a 20th century French composer who had chromesthesia. So for him, chords and harmonies form specific color combinations. And so he composed music to reflect what he wanted to visualize. So to him, making music was like painting, because he could see it. So his famous piece, Colors of the Celestial City, is based on these visuals. Now a more modern one. Pharrell Williams is a modern musician with chromesthesia. He claims that every song is associated with the color for him. So for him, the key of C also feels like the color red, and then his song Happy, which you've probably heard of, is associated with a bright yellow color, which influences the lyrics and the production and the melody when he's writing. This also shapes how he feels emotionally when writing a song. And if the song doesn't look right to him, then it's not finished. Then Billie Eilish and Phineas. So Billie Eilish and Phineas are siblings, you've probably heard of them, who both experience forms of synesthesia. So they experience color, shape, and texture when hearing music. And Billie explains that when she's writing music, it not only has to sound appealing, but look right in her head as well. In her song, Bury a Friend, she feels black, red, and sharp feelings. And the two of them, when they both agree that they see like the same color when they're doing a song, that's how they know they're on the right track when making music together. So this can inspire everything from their album art to the fashion choices, music videos, and stage lighting. Lord, which is a pop musician who experiences chromesthesia. So she also sees colors when she hears music. So she explains that certain sounds feel blue and soft to her, while others feel like gold and sharp. And so her song Royals, to her is like a deep violet, and her album Melodrama is an electric blue, which I think that's really interesting because if you've seen her album Color, it's kind of has those colors in it. And so this greatly influences her songwriting, album covers, and music videos. There's some other popular people you might have heard of that have synesthesia as well. So in conclusion, synesthesia is a fascinating condition that contributes to the way so many people experience music. And without the unique abilities our favorite artists have when experiencing music, some of our favorite songs might have never existed. So music is not something we just hear, it's something we feel, and it affects everyone in different ways.
Don't leave yet, Emma.
Oh, sorry.
So, many years ago, I had a student here, Kenny Prothrow, a fantastic soprano with perfect pitch, and she had that chromesthesia, and she would talk to me sometimes about different chords and their colors. And then even before her, we had a student, Deaton, and I didn't even know this till the end of the year. She wrote me the most beautiful note that I always kept because it was just one of those. And she said, I have synesthesia, and she went down and talked about the different songs we were learning and the flavors that she would experience while performing the songs. And there was this one very difficult, very amazing piece we did called Water Night. And I always remember in her note, she said, this piece, which I love, and she's saying that she loved it, gave her the metallic blood taste whenever we would sing Water Night. And it was just fascinating. And I think Sherry Organ a little bit, who's a little more recent, she's come back. If you've seen her, because she's a current college kid, she's come back and said hello a couple times. She has perfect pitch as well, and sees some color with it. Akil, I know you have perfect pitch. Do you experience anything in terms of color?
Yeah, always. I always think of like certain songs, certain keys, like certain colors, or even just like certain chords. But like usually, I feel like I associate something like multiple colors in once. It's never just like one color.
Well, it's interesting because people with perfect pitch, I don't think it's always that way, but I think sometimes it's related. And perfect pitch is sometimes compared with how normal people perceive color. Like if I ask Ariana, what pitch is this? Without a frame of reference, she's not going to know the answer. But if I hold this up and I say, Ariana, what color is this? She doesn't need to know. She doesn't need to see a color palette around it to answer. It's really interesting. You guys have any other questions or comments? I'm gonna be quiet. I'm gonna let you talk to Emma about it. Akil, do you have something for Emma?
Do you see color when you hear
No,
music?
I don't, but I've heard of people who do, which is what inspired me.
I know some.
Yes, I know a few people. There was someone, and I thought about interviewing her, but she's been a little nervous. Okay, Emily?
When you see the color, like when someone sees the colors, is it like the whole room turns like the color, or like the note? Like how does that work?
I think it's like they just see like I guess the room or their surroundings as the color. But I think it's also different for everyone, so I'm not sure.
It's a fascinating question, Emily.
Yeah. Yeah, Akil,
Akil, when you see, how do the colors interact with your actual visual perception?
I mean, it isn't really interacting with visual. What I'm seeing is it's not really interacting with that. It's more just a picture in my mind. So it's
Like if you
in
close
my
your
mind-
eyes or something, like you kind of.
Yeah, I mean if I really close my eyes and think about it, I can see a certain color. But like when I'm just like singing music and looking, I'm looking ahead.
Right.
I'm looking at the shots. I'm not
Like it's not like the actual room changes.
It's not like room changes. It's more like a feeling. It's a feeling of like you feel color. Like you feel color almost.
Huh.
Thank you, Emma.